Hello, my name is Moses Cornell. We're going to be walking through my journal entry retrieval program. You can find this on GitHub at Desert Boy Journal Project. So this program is meant to look at a database of journal entries and using the author's name, pull a journal entry matching the author. Please excuse my voice. I had some medical procedures done, which made me extremely stuffy. It's difficult to breathe, but we'll get through this. So the use case for this program is that the user inputs some text data and the program returns a journal written by the author. And we can look at the API markdown in the documents folder for how to run the app. So let's go do that. I already have the Git clone, obviously, but we are going to compose build it. It's going to be hosted at the localhost 5000, and we'll be using a drop-down menu to select from the various authors in the database once it is running. So this is what it looks like, fully functional. We have JDJK with 2 entries, still in JSON, and Bob Burt with a single entry, also in JSON. So to start, we have a SQL database created. I did create and pre-populate this journal entries with some text, the date was written, author, text keyword, locations, all located here. And then created a journal class, which has the text, date, author, and functions for returning these things. Because this was developed and test driven, there is tests for the class itself. And so we go to run the journal test. We are running it in the actual container to make sure that it's there and that everything has been functional. This may cause an issue a little bit moving forward, but we'll get through that together. And then we have my repository. And in this repository, we are making sure that we have an abstract class that will load the journal. And we have our load journal being used here. But we created the MySQL repository with the config and a mapper to ensure that the SQL database is able to return something that will be able to be read. Now, prior to this, we do have a test MySQL repository. And we have another pass. All right, this should have been prior. But we're checking to make sure that it is in a repository, that it is loading the journals, that it does have the information that should be in there. Prior to this, the journal tests and the SQL repository have been separate. So now going into services, we'll see that we are now combining these two things. We're loading the repository. We're loading the journals. We're filtering and creating recalls for the author. And we can test this also using test services. And this also passes. Our test services are over at our tests. Here we are. We're making sure that it's an instance of a repo, that the target author is there. We're making sure that the information is still up in there. Finally, we have the app itself. We're using Flask. We're building a route for an HTML that is located in the web folder. Here, there is a script accessing the APIs and some other CSS stuff. And here we have the actual app itself. Now to test this though, where is it? test server, this should not work. Why? Is because this test server only tests if it's working, but we've been restarting each time to make sure that the other tests are working in the container, but now we need to make sure that it's working outside of the container. So we have to just run it separately. Now when we run the test, it passes successfully. And we can go back to here. We'll reload this. And there we go. 2 entries for Liam Strongman. Now, the parts that I found difficult for this section were the actual Docker compose. For some reason, until I had this health check, it was composing the files out of order and connecting things too soon for SQL and causing a lot of errors. So once that was fixed, a lot of this became smooth sailing. If you have any questions, comments, please don't hesitate to reach out. Again, this is at Desert Boy in GitHub. Thank you.